Hello, everyone. Welcome to Crimson Command Gaming. And today I'm Tark, joined by Curran, and we plan on going through a few details that we've uncovered with Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. Uh, Curran here is going to take it away to start, so I'll let him get to it.
So yeah, thank you, Tark. And yeah, today we're talking about Fate of the Old Republic and some recent news that came out about it. And we're gonna just start off with the team behind it. And we've gotten a little bit of recent news in the past couple weeks of some additions to this. But we have Dan Fessender. I'm not gonna try and get a lot of these people's names right. But Melanie Falconer, Caroline Livingstone, Ryan Hoyle, and Pascal Blanche. And so 4 out of these 5 people have worked on the first game and old BioWare games, the games that people really love. Pascal is a new guy. He's not worked on the old stuff, but I have looked at his work and I do kind of like it. So yeah, if we look at Corey Hudson, he's the great game director. He's worked on basically all of the Mass Effect trilogy, the first game, but none of these people. Me and Tar talked about this a little bit. None of these people really worked on the second game. They only worked on the first one. Um, Dan, who I think is he's the technical director, worked on the first one and a few Mass Effects, not all of them. And then our voice director, she has worked on a lot of really good stuff, in my opinion. That gives me hope on the acting side of things. And then we have I believe this guy's the CTO. Um, he has worked on a couple of the big ones that we like as well. But again, we've talked about this, Stark. I'm very excited about these people being old school, and yeah, they might not have worked on anything recently, but I like the things that they worked on, and I'm excited to see what they might be able to do here. But what are your thoughts on this? Yeah.
Yeah, so on first glance, with what limited information we do have about the game's development, at least we know some of the key players that are going to be developing the game. However, looking at their track record is more of a pessimist to your optimism. I am not so certain about the direction of the game because looking at their track record, they have worked on games like Knights of the Old Republic, which was very good for me, and Mass Effect, the original, and Mass Effect 3, which I enjoyed Mass Effect 3 a lot. It has been over a decade since they've worked on any of this content. And I don't know about you, but I certainly am not who I was 10 years ago. But that may be something we could see a return of a more classic style of gameplay like Knights of the Old Republic, or this might be a completely new take on the series with some themes taken from the original.
No, and that is fair points. They have not been in the game. We talked about this a little bit off stream that I'm more confident because they haven't been in the game for so long and they're not involved in the new school design and elements. So I'm hoping they go back to that older era and they kind of give us some older gameplay and something that we used to love. But we'll move on here and we'll get to the art director, which is the new person. He has not worked on any of the past games. He's never worked for BioWare. He's a new hire, but he doesn't have a lot of experience as an art director. It's very spaced out, what you expect in game design and game art. These development cycles are very long, but I like a lot of his work. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it goes back very far. Well, let me pull something up here. But yeah, he worked on Myst 4. This is his first big notable game. He worked on a Naruto game, which of course has a very defined style by default. He worked on the first Avatar game, not the new one, not to get confused with the new one, the first Avatar game. The Splinter Cell, I think it was 2009. And then his most recent is Meet Your Maker, which I believe is 2003. And this was the best screenshot that a lot of it was low quality, kind of showing off the character design in those games. But when we look at his actual artwork and what he really kind of goes for, his style, it's very 70s sci-fi, and I very much like it. Personally, I very much like it. They've got some heavy metal influence in there. It's very fun, in my opinion. But yeah, I would say, Dark Age, with this, does the artwork inspire you at all, or are you looking forward to the aspect of it all, like how that plays into things, or are you mostly focused on the gameplay, the story, which I am mostly as well, but I do like the artwork of this guy.
His artwork is all right for me. I do enjoy the 70s, 80s aesthetic. I've noticed a lot of artwork back then for me. Like I noticed like the Akira thing, more artwork back then when they tried to focus more on the detail with like their animated movies or like animes in general. Had more of a we're gonna push the boundaries and try to add as much art and like detail and new styles as possible. However, for me personally, just because he's done 70s style art, I'm more so waiting until we get some gameplay footage uh, instead of a quick minute trailer where we didn't really get too much detail other than there was a Leviathan dreadnought crashed, a mysterious figure, was exploring the ruins. There was an eluding creature in the background, and a lightsaber appeared. Nobody talked. We didn't get any details, so I'm more so looking forward to gameplay footage or an actual story trailer, so we can see when this game is approximately going to take place in the Star Wars story. If they're going to be doing callbacks to maybe Knights of the Old Republic, or if it's closer to Star Wars: The Old Republic, or maybe it's its own standalone. Before I kind of make a more concrete decision on what would be coming around the corner with this game.
Oh, I am 100% there with you, brother. It's very much, how is this going to play out? We only got that cinematic trailer. It's just a teaser. There's nothing there. It's essentially vaporware at that point when we got it in at the Game Awards. Essentially vaporware, but excited about the potential. It's a long shot, I feel, but they could pull it off. And I do like that idea, and I do have a little bit of faith with the people behind it, because of what their backgrounds, and like I said, this guy is the wild card, and I do enjoy his art quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie, I do enjoy it quite a bit. But of course, we've been waiting to get into it because the big reason we made this video today and why we wanted to talk about this is some recent comments just in the past few days from Corey, right? I believe it's Corey, the game director, basically saying, well, I'll read the quote verbatim here. Bigger isn't necessarily better. If I'm excited about a game and then I find out that it's 200 hours long, even if I have no ambition to finish it, I wonder if I put 20 hours in, will I even be out of Act 1? A lot of players just want to play something and finish it. Which I can agree with, that there are certain game styles where I very much like a quick, repeatable loop, and a quick, easy jump in, jump out. But when I'm talking about an RPG, personally, I usually like them to be long. And I think Baldur's Gate 3 is a recent example of that. Most players want their RPGs long, or they at least want to be able to have them be able to be long. You can beat Baldur's Gate 3 within 50 hours. You can do it. But you can also spend 200 hours on it. And I think that's what makes it a great RPG. So we'll see with this one, but they're focusing mostly. They want it to be like about 20 hours long with a lot of replayability, which makes me confident that maybe there'll be a lot of choice, but who knows? That being said, they're not going for the type of grand scale that I really wish they would. And yeah, how do you feel about that, Dark?
Well, if the gloves are coming off, I don't think that's a good sign for a game that don't have any information on and has had a very questionable development. Because looking at the old games like Knights of the Old Republic, it was flushed out for the most part. They took a whole new angle on the Star Wars story, and we got so many new characters out of it. The biggest one being Revan, which has essentially stood the test of time, and a lot of Star Wars fans know him. And then the second game, although it wasn't finished, Knights of the Old Republic 2 was still a 50-hour long game. If playing start to finish, you still got a bunch of content. You got a lot of extra lore. I really enjoyed Duxon with the Mandalorians. I liked Onderon and being there. That makes like little callbacks to like the ancient Sith Lord Freedon Nad and his bloodline and all this mysterious stuff going on in the background. And you could just kind of feel the world building around you as you progress through the game. Um, it kind of just raises concerns for me personally when he says he would prefer a shorter game and saying that generalizing most gamers want a quick play experience. Well, if you're marketing it as an RPG, let's say, then you will have to look towards longer games like Baldur's Gate, which has had huge success, and one of my favorite games of all time, which is The Witcher 3, which you can easily put 100 hours of gameplay in because of the depth and the world building and the characters and the atmosphere and all of the companions and all the people that you meet along the way and how many mechanics that they put in, enemies and different mobs to fight, area progression, it really builds a much more bigger flushed out game. So it just concerns me when he's like, well, I would prefer if we shortened it because we want to really get it out there and we want a enjoyable experience that we could deliver quicker to the fans. And so that just concerns me because why would you want to speed up development? Why would you want to try and push the game faster? And we have seen choice in more recent RPGs and with modern gaming. It's more of an illusion sometimes where you could make choice A in your dialogue, but if you made choice B in your dialogue, it still funnels into the same conclusion either way. And that's kind of what I'm more concerned about in the grand scheme of the game. We just really need more information to kind of quell these concerns that I'm having for its development.
Oh, I'm 100% with you there. And we've talked about this a little bit off stream, but yeah, it is something that I worry about, and I see a trend in the wrong direction often. And we'll have to see where do they go with this. Is this really going to be returned to that form that they're kind of promising and promoting with this staff and this executive staff specifically? And how will that play out? Will we get an actual good RPG or will we get something mediocre? But I'm still excited for it. I'm still ready to see what they deliver to us. And yeah, we'll have to see what that becomes.
Mhm. I said, well, I look forward to any and all content we get going forward, just so we can kind of suss out what the game is really going to be like.
Yeah, and it will be interesting to see what leaks out. I was excited to see we got any sort of news about who was working on it because we had talked about this that I didn't. There wasn't much out there. There wasn't a lot to go on. Could be eventually become vaporware, but it seems like things are forming. Seems they have some funding, and it might actually come to fruition. So very excited, and I want you all to tell us what you think in the comments below, why you think them. And thank you all for tuning into Crimson Command Gaming.
I hope everyone enjoyed the watch, and we'll hopefully see you on the next one.